Warning: Windows 11 Pro 23H2 is now out of support, and many devices never upgraded to Enterprise. Now, did you know that in many Microsoft 365 Enterprise environments, computers that IT believes are secure and up-to-date are actually running on an out-of-support Windows version, and it's completely unnoticed? Windows 11 Pro 23H2 has already reached the end of support, and devices still on this edition are no longer receiving security updates or fixes. Now, they are outside the vendor support, and that alone is a concern, but here's the real problem. Across multiple organizations, we are seeing machines that should be running on Windows 11 Enterprise that never upgraded. They're quietly stuck on Windows 11 Pro 23H2, and IT has no warning or alert that anything went wrong. This is happening right now in real environments. And if you manage a hybrid fleet, there's a strong chance it's happening in yours too. So in the next few minutes, I'll walk you through why these devices fail to upgrade even when licensing is correct, how to check if you already have devices out of support, and how to fix this before it becomes a real security and compliance risk. Let's jump in. So what happened? Now, Windows 11 Pro 23H2 is out of support. That's what happened. On November 10th, 2025, it reached the end of support, and devices still running on this build are now outside the vendor support and no longer receiving security updates or fixes. Now, that alone should trigger action, but here's the real issue. Many organizations believe they are protected because they use Microsoft Enterprise 365 or the education licensing. The assumption is very simple. Pro devices upgrade to Enterprise automatically when the right user signs in. Except in many environments, that upgrade never happened. This is without warning or any error, just devices silently staying on Pro. Now, IT thinks everything's compliant, but the operating system says otherwise. And the result is a growing number of machines already out of support, while still believed to be running on Enterprise. And that's a visibility failure, not a policy failure. And it's exactly where the risk begins. Okay, so why do devices fail to upgrade even when everything looks correct? Now, on paper, the upgrade from Windows 11 Pro to Enterprise should be automatic, but in real environments, it often fails silently, and IT never sees it. And these are the main reasons. The wrong user signs in. Now, in shared lab or service accounts, frequently log in first. And if the primary user with the correct Enterprise or education license never signs in during the activation window, the upgrade never triggers. Or activation doesn't trigger reliably. Even when the licensing is fully correct, activation can delay or fail without any warning or error message. Or the device changes hands. Reissued devices are at high risk, especially if the new user doesn't carry the required license for Enterprise activation. And maybe the worst of all, assumptions replace validation. Most IT teams assume licensing takes care of the upgrade automatically, so they never check OS edition drift during onboarding or lifecycle reviews. And the result? Devices remain on Windows 11 Pro indefinitely, even inside environments that assume Enterprise standards are in place. And this has been a hidden issue for years in Windows deployments. But the Pro 23H2 end-of-life deadline has now turned it into a real operational and compliance risk. So the real-world impact, why running an unsupported OS becomes a problem fast. So when a device stays on Windows 11 Pro 23H2 after its end of support date, the organization are exposed in several ways that are easy to overlook until something breaks or is exploited. So here are the consequences IT teams are already facing. The first one is security vulnerabilities accumulate. Now, out-of-support builds stop receiving critical security updates. Risk increases every week. Those devices remain unpatched, especially in a hybrid and remote environment. The second one is compliance violations go undetected. These devices fall out of alignment with internal baselines and external frameworks, like ISO 27001, the sys controls, the NIST, and so on, and often without any visibility in audits or dashboards. Number three is the growing operational instability, so performance degradation, management errors, and inconsistent user experience start to surface, creating more support work for IT. The fourth one is backlogs form silently, so dozens or even hundreds of machines may require urgent attention all at once, and this is overwhelming your resources. And the fifth one, a false sense of safety. Enterprise licensing gives the illusion everything is protected. Meanwhile, reality says the opposite, and that's what makes this so dangerous. This is not a loud failure. This is a silent risk that increases every day it is unnoticed. So, how to check if your environment is already affected. Now, you don't need a long investigation. A few simple checks will reveal whether devices missed the upgrade or not. Now, step number one is identifying all devices still running on Windows 11 Pro 23H2. Pull OS edition and version data together. If any devices are on Pro and already out of support, you have exposure. Step number two, compare OS edition versus the assigned license. Look for mismatches where the user has an enterprise education license, but the OS is still on Pro. That's the core failure case. Step number 3, check who is actually using the device. Now, focus on shared accounts, interns, contractors, lower tier licenses. These scenarios often block the activation silently. Step number 4 is to validate activation history. If activation never triggered or failed quietly, the device stays on Pro indefinitely. Step number 5 is to pay attention to reused devices. So anything that changed hands without reset is at high risk for being stuck on the wrong edition. So these 5 steps expose the blind spots fast, especially in a hybrid or remote deployments where onboarding varies wildly. Alright, so how to prevent this from happening again and without adding workload for your team? Once you've identified devices that missed the upgrade, the goal is to make sure it doesn't repeat. The good news is small adjustments solve the problem entirely. Make sure to verify OS edition during onboarding and just add a simple check to ensure devices don't remain on Pro after deployment. Then ensure the intended primary user has the right license, so enterprise activation requires an enterprise or an education user to sign in during the activation window, and if the day-to-day user has a lower tier license, activation never happens. Also, set a clear minimum OS baseline, so no device is compliant if it's unsupported, even if licensing suggests otherwise. Also, plan feature updates ahead of deadlines, so don't wait till the last month before end-of-life support, and don't upgrade too early. A 6-month buffer window works well. Then monitor activation continuously, so enterprise activation can fail silently, so regular checks prevent drift. Then treat reissued devices carefully. Reset them when changing users to avoid misaligned licensing and activation failures. And also use tools that surface edition plus support risk together. Most endpoint tools don't show OS edition or activation status and the lifecycle state in one place, and that's where blind spots form. Visibility prevents emergencies, proactive checks prevent firefighting. So in the end, this is where Applixure can really help you. We help catch this automatically before it becomes a real issue. This entire risk becomes easy to control when you have the right visibility. Now, Applixure Analytics automatically tracks exactly which devices are running which OS edition and which version across your entire fleet. If a machine is still on Windows 11 Pro, 23H2, or any build that's already out of support, Applixure flags it proactively. No detective work required. You immediately see devices that should be on Enterprise but aren't, devices drifting outside of support windows, and activation issues that silently failed. And because Applixure Analytics monitors continuously, not just during deployment, you always know when something changes, before it becomes a real problem. Now, if you want the fastest way to confirm your environment is safe, you can try Applixure for free. So start the free 30-day trial of Applixure Analytics. You can get instant visibility in the OS editions, lifecycle status, and silent activation failures, so nothing slips through the cracks unnoticed again. Now, if you want some assistance, you can also book an Applixure health check. If you manage more than 100 computers, here's the fastest way to know whether you are already impacted by this Windows drift. Now, book the Applixure health check. We will provide you with a clear map of OS editions, activation status, and support levels, immediately visibility into the devices still stuck on Pro, early warning signals for compliance and lifecycle risk, and concrete steps to fix these right away. Now, this is the kind of risk that stays invisible until it causes real damage for your company. Now, with the right visibility, it becomes one of the simplest problems to eliminate. So don't wait until this appears in an audit report. Get ahead of it. Book your health check today. Now, one more important point before we wrap up is if you fix this issue today, it can come back if there's no clear standard in place. And that's why many IT teams are now defining a minimum quality baseline. A simple set of measurable key quality metrics, as we call them, that every device must meet. So for example, the operating system is not end of life. If a device moves into an out of support state, it gets flagged proactively and not months later found in an audit. Just a few KQMs, key quality metrics, per area will give you ongoing protection in the areas of performance, security, manageability, experience, and so on. So to help you get started, we've created this short practical guide that you can download for free on our website, the Minimum IT Quality Standards Guide. Link is now below. It includes recommended KQMs and baseline thresholds that you can adopt immediately, so risks like this never go unnoticed again. Create clarity, detect drift proactively, and stay ahead of lifecycle deadlines automatically. Download the guide now and build your baseline. Now, thanks for watching. If this helped you, give it a like and share it with someone in your IT network who should stay ahead of these risks. Stay proactive, stay supported, and I'll see you on the next one. And otherwise, Applixure out.